Tekken 8 is a fun game, but is it casual or beginner friendly to get into? The quick answer is, not really, and I'll explain why. The Tekken franchise is built around the plot point of being disowned and absolutely hated by your immediate family members, that you're willing to burn the entire world down just to punch them in the face. Which is why I find it so relatable growing up. Boring details aside, I will say that Tekken 8 is the best Tekken to dip your feet into, but that's not saying much. Listen, I love to watch Tekken competitively. I don't even compete in Tekken, but I still love it. I grew up with Tekken. I played Tekken alone and by myself all the way until Tag 2 and 7, where I was able to casually compete with my friends. I can make an abridged explanation for the Tekken lore and the bare minimum explanation of the basics and game mechanics to people who've never touched fighting games before. But Tekken is not the game you can just casually pick up, enjoy, and naturally find yourself investing more into. The reasons why casuals can't invest into it are two big reasons. It's a fighting game and it's Tekken. I have a lot of friends of various opinions, but fighting games, especially traditional ones outside Smash, are like kryptonite to these gamers. Fighting games are problem-solving video games, where both people display problems to the opposing side in the form of interactions, until someone loses. Sounds cool, right? From my experience, most of my friends who don't like fighting games are the type to play competitive team-based games like League of Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, first-person shooters, and so forth. And that's fine. I even used to be competitive in League of Legends back at Season 3 and 4, hitting Platinum 4 as an AD carry main in solo queue. So, what do team-based competitive games translate to for why it's hard to get into fighting games? I'm not saying that people who play these games can't get into the fighting game genre, but the vast majority of people, in general, even me sometimes, love to complain or shift the blame for their losses. Some of my friends who play first-person shooters or team-orientated games in general tend to complain about their teammate or how the game is. And it's not just that. Back when I played League, it might be different. I don't know. I knew a lot of people were more willing to type and complain than they were to focus and try to change the situation. This is why I formed a habit of muting everybody when playing competitive team-based games nowadays. Again, that's fine. It's human nature to be frustrated when losing. But in games where you're on a team, it's easier to deflect or shift the blame of the loss on someone else outside of yourself. Whereas for fighting games, it's only two people, you and the opponent. If you lose, who are you going to be able to blame? The competitive balancing of a game? Your opponent for using cheesy, lame tricks and tactics to beat you? Or are you going to take a deep breath and say, that's bullshit, good next game? It's hard, but that's what makes the genre so appealing to me, is that because it's hard, we just have to be better, and everyone can keep getting better. As for the second reason why it's hard to invest into is because it's Tekken. Tekken is a 3D fighter where the average character has over 70 plus moves. That's a lot to try and know for a single character for an average cast of 30 characters. You also have to fight on top of that. Tekken has a lot of depth. For most beginners, trying to learn how to sidestep and Korean backdash seems as complicated as solving a 4x4 Rubik's Cube without taking the stickers off. Let's talk about Tekken 8's positives for why it's the best one to get into. The move list is full of important information to lab out and explore, but there are some secrets to certain things that weren't really flat out explained in previous Tekken games. In Tekken 8 specifically, they've added notes to certain moves to further explain properties of those moves and additional possibilities that you can explore with, like being able to shift into stances from a string or cancel stances, and throw breaks for certain throws are a nice touch of improvement overall. Yes, there are still lots of things that explained, but this is still a very great improvement to me. Most fighting games nowadays have auto combos to help bridge the gap in lack of experience and game knowledge to enable beginner-friendly interactions, and Tekken does have a feature similar to that known as the special style. While not optimal at all, the special style does help someone start a combo, do a rage art, or go for an option without requiring knowledge or execution. This is still a nice feature to have because the game still rewards players for execution and investing time to get better, while also managing to cater to those that just want to try it. While the tutorial isn't perfect and is lacking some key stuff like how to move and interacting with throws, etc., it does do a good job of explaining the heat system overall outside the heat-bound extension. Bring it all back together, the Tekken series is not a game you can just casually pick up and naturally find yourself investing into. For example, if someone wants to know the controls to Tekken, I can just say, you move with the stick and D-pad, and each of your 4 buttons controls a limb. Good luck. But that doesn't help anybody. A game that does that better is Soul Calibur because it's simple, easy to get into, while also having depth that can be continued to be explored. This is not a game where you can make excuses, get mad at your teammates, or criticize the game for its terrible game balancing or unfair tier lists. Especially since Tekken 7 has proven that you can win a Tekken World Tour with Panda. This is not the type of game recommended to those that get mad easily or complain while also not wanting to try to do something different. On day 1 alone for my stream, I lost a lot, but I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot, and it gave me more anticipation to the future of the game. Tekken holds a very special place in my heart, but Tekken is also unfortunately the fighting game I think of that if you play it, you have to ask yourself, how much am I willing to invest into this? And for some people that scares them. It's a shrug of the shoulders, and you move on to play something else. And for those that are willing to entertain the idea of losing a lot, yet being able to persist through the pain, the failure, and endless knowledge of things to learn, you can look back on old footage of yourself and confidently say, I've gotten better. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.